Welcome to Harry Potter and the Anxious Millennials, a show where we delve week by week into each chapter of the Harry Potter series. Ari, we're back.
Adam is so excited, guys. Adam just can't wait. Adam can't wait to talk about this film.
I will say, we had a lot to say about this film. We still have a lot to say about this film. I never would have guessed that our first half of the film took 3 hours to record. Now, it's not what by the time the episode comes out, it wasn't a full 3 hours. It's probably 2.5 is going to be my guess. But it's
I was going to say,
wild.
I hope you can edit. I was like, first off, I'm so sorry that you have to listen to that back, like 3 hours of editing, but bless your heart. Thank you. And yes, I hope, feel free to take out anything that is just like, I think there were multiple times where I repeated myself because I kept losing my train of thought. I was way more tired than I thought I was going to be towards the end of the recording.
Yeah.
When we stopped, I was just like, oh my gosh.
It was a lot. It's a big boy. It's a big boy movie.
I think it's just because a lot of the things that we're talking about, like I was confused when I was watching the movie, trying to like put the logic together of like why like things kind of being out of order, where I was like, why would you do that? It just makes more sense to like do that in a different order. So then revisiting that and being like, why are you making these choices? It was like exhausting. But we did it. We made it to the Yule Ball. The Yule Ball.
The
Yule Ball.
How you doing?
I didn't mean to do that. Slay! Sorry. My favorite part of that bit was you yelling the other things out before you got to slay. It was like, yes! Whack! Slay! It's just so funny.
Well, and famously, when I did slay, I gave a one-syllable word, somehow made it to be three. So a slay.
Slay. I mean, Fox does show up in this movie for a brief moment. He is in the background. You can see him.
Oh, yeah.
Very briefly.
Very briefly. Blinking you'll miss.
Yeah. We made it to the Yule Ball. Where we're picking back up is actually Harry's second dream about Voldemort.
I don't know,
what?
Right? I don't know. Why is
you don't know what?
So the dream he dreamt, the scream he scrumped in the beginning of the film.
The screamy scrumped
in the beginning of the film was because it was probably happening in real time at the Riddle House. So I don't like when Frank dies.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like the way it's presented is it's like he's seeing what's going on at that moment.
Right.
I don't like that he has the same dream again, because then it's a dream. Then it's like, then the movie doesn't know if it's a dream or if, you know what I mean?
Well, once again, and this dream is different. I don't know if you peeped that. Bless you.
It was like faster.
No, it was. They were talking about something different.
Oh.
I turned on the subtitles at this moment specifically because I was like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah.
So Harry has another dream. And in this dream, Junior is showing Voldemort his dark mark. And Voldemort says, oh, yes, the time is near.
What?
What does that mean? What do you mean the time is near now that you're looking at the dark mark? So the dark mark is getting darker because you're coming back. But isn't it you have to touch it to make them come back? This was weird. I was just like, what are we doing? What? No, you have to explain that then.
I think
you have to tell us something.
Because it does say, obviously in the book, Karkaroff's whole thing is he's like, the dark mark on his arm is getting stronger.
Yeah.
Like it's like more visible.
Yeah. But that's not like, it's weird for Voldemort to be looking at the dark mark and then he's going off of that. It's like, no, the mark is going off of you, Voldy.
Yeah. You did it. It's
you are the one that is It's you. You're the one that's making the dark mark clearer. That was so weird to me.
Singular sensation. Every little step.
I was like, what is this? It was so weird. Adam, you were so right. Your observation that this basically is just like someone doing a drunk history of the Goblet of Fire is so correct. That's how it feels. I'm like, wait, it's like almost accurate, but not quite. Like, I'm just like, no, you're doing things out of order. Wait, what are you talking about? Ugh, I don't like it. So he's like, yes, the time is near. So, okay. Then Harry's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I still don't know. I think he just like wakes up, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He doesn't go to Dumbledore yet.
Mm-hmm.
So Harry's talking to Hermione about how he still doesn't know what he's going to do with the egg. And then this moment was a little weird for me. Do you know what I'm going to talk about?
When the weird staging of like her like walking around Harry to be in the shot better.
Yes, that was weird.
That one? Yeah, that's
But
bizarre.
The whole like Victor's more of a physical being moment. I was just like,
oh yeah. Let's get physical.
And then she's like, I just mean
Olivia.
He's not particularly loquacious. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
This is just weird. It's just weird. I was like, this would be fine if they weren't like 14.
I didn't like them hanging out alone together, and I don't know why it bothered me, but like it bothered me.
Well, it's kind of it was like the way they're filming it was presented as an intimate shot.
Yeah.
That's how the way it was filmed, it came across that way.
Yeah.
So Hermione's like, actually, I haven't talked to Victor about anything because he's a physical being. And then she clarifies that she's like, we don't really talk. That's not what I meant. It's just we don't really talk about anything. Like he just kind of watches me study and it's actually kind of annoying. And yeah, because Hermione like wants someone with substance, which she ends up with Ron. So I don't know. But
so did she get someone with substance?
Yeah. But I don't know. I do think Ron goes through a very big change though. So especially after, well, we won't, whatever. In the 7th book, we'll talk about that more. But I just felt like the fact that they were 14 and they're talking about him being like a physical being and what that is implying, I was like, I don't know if I needed that. So Cedric approaches Harry and he basically, this was funny to me, this little like awkward exchange with them. I liked this part.
Yeah. He's
like, because Cedric is like trying to make small talk, but like they're not really friends. So he's just kind of like, how are you? It's just like, and then Harry's like, spectacular. It's just great. I just loved it. Funny. I was like, it was just so genuine. I was like, yeah, this is a very like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, I think that you should go and mull it over with your egg in the bathroom.
He goes, the prefect's bathroom on the 5th floor? And Harry's like, yeah. And I was like, no, you don't. You're not a fucking prefect.
Yeah, he went in his invisibility cloak. He went and he was creeping on those prefects. We just don't know.
Him and Myrtle just creeping on people God. In the baths.
I have so much to say about Myrtle. So yeah, Cedric encourages him to go to the prefect bath. Harry, then the next scene is Harry in said prefect bath.
And I'd like to say,
yeah,
production design knocking it out of the park once again.
A++.
Oh, she agrees. Khaleesi said absolutely.
So yes, Harry is in the bath. And there were 100% 100 taps in there, Adam.
100%. They were not around the Olympic-sized pool.
No. But they were there.
But I did like the like a tiered cake.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Also, I love that like we got the invisibility cloak once in the Forbidden Forest, and that has been it. We have not seen her since, and she will not be back.
No.
It was just that moment. Yeah. We don't even see him using her. Is she even in the background? I don't even think we see the invisibility cloak in the background.
He has a robe he takes off, like an actual robe he takes off.
Yes, right. So the bath scene. What should we say about the bath scene? I remember being way too excited about this scene when I was
Ari, I
13.
literally wrote in my notes, I distinctly remember trying to see if I could see Daniel's dick in this scene. I was horny. I was in 8th grade. I had not come out yet, but I knew I was gay. And I was like,
where is it?
I just want to see. I have to see it. Oh my God.
There was no way you were going to. He was underage. No. There was no way they were going to risk that.
He wasn't naked.
No, yes. He for sure had like full on like pants. Yeah, nude pants on for sure.
Yeah.
So the bath scene, first off, not Myrtle literally popping out of the toilet. She just straight up was just chill. Her hands and her chin are on the toilet seat where people's asses have been.
I mean, she swims in the sewer. So.
I know. I was like, girl, what? And then she just goes into Harry's bath. I was like, I'm sorry. I don't care if you are a ghost. I would be like, you just came out of the toilet. Do not come in my bath water. I don't care if you're a ghost. Also, I don't know if you know this, Adam. You probably do. I think we've talked about her before. This scene is even weirder to watch knowing that this was a full adult woman.
I literally wrote, knowing that the actress playing Myrtle is like 40 makes it so much worse.
Yes. I wrote, also, it's even weirder that Myrtle is played by an adult woman. Eek.
I mean, I like the bit of physical comedy when she's trying to replicate the mermaid, like the mermaid window. That's very funny. It's so stupid.
It is so stupid. I love it.
And I do think it's like weird and awkward, but I mean, like she did what the book asked her to do, because it's not like the book isn't like also equally as weird.
I don't think she's like in the water though. I don't think she's in the tub with him. I'm pretty sure she's just looming around. Because the moment that where I was like, whoa, what are we doing, is where he's under the water looking at the egg and she like caresses the egg. Like, I'm like, okay, well then she's right there. Like, and his dick is there. Yeah. He's naked. She can definitely see it. I was like, no. And then she like cuddles up to him at the end. And I was
that's
like,
the weirdest.
Oh no, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's not fun. She was way too close to him. I was just like, from her caressing the egg onward, I was not into it. So Harry is still trying to figure out what to do. Now he knows that it's mer people, but he doesn't know how because of the egg being underwater and being able to hear it. Thanks, Cedric. He knows it's mer people, but he doesn't know how he's going to stay underwater for an hour. So Hermione and Ron are helping him, and then Moody comes to get Ron and Hermione. Here's the moment you're talking about with Emma. And then so Neville ends up helping Harry.
And I think this is like of all the things that they've changed for the sake of like they had to cut things, I think this works really well.
I was going to say the same thing. This was perfect. And they went off of the book. Like Moody giving him the book.
Gave him the book.
And then, so it was like, oh, okay, great. Let's just have that work out rather than Dobby has to step in, which I thought was great because it's a perfect fix.
Right.
So Harry and Neville, I guess, suggests to Harry that he uses gillyweed. And Harry's like, well, I don't have another option. So yeah, I'll definitely do gillyweed.
The only question is, how did Neville get the gillyweed? But I don't remember if Moody says he gave it to Neville in his monologue.
I can't remember either. I don't remember either because I don't think that Neville would be brave enough to steal it from Snape because he's so scared of him.
Yeah.
So Harry and Neville are walking down for the second task, which is in the North Sea, as Adam said.
It's so far away.
We're like halfway to Ireland. Not even. We're up above Ireland. Like, where are we going? So how big is the Black Lake? Are you kidding me?
It's so stupid.
So Harry's like, well, I'm glad you're here at least, Neville, because Ron and Hermione are nowhere to be found. And I'm just like, I refuse to believe that this is not setting off some alarm bells in Harry's mind.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe with everything that's happening, he doesn't think that's suspicious.
Right.
Anyway, he didn't even try to tell McGonagall. I would have at least been like, McGonagall, I haven't seen them since last night. Is everything okay? And then she probably would have been like, yeah, don't worry. I know where they are. Don't worry about it. Like, anyway.
Yeah, because it's not even like the book where he falls asleep and gets
yes,
woken
and
up
wakes up late. Yes, which I was going to say something about that. I also am sad we were robbed of that because you know how funny I thought it was when he like arrives and he's like, I'm here.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. Yeah. And they're all like, how did you feel about what they were wearing? I kind of wanted them to all be in like magical wetsuits. I thought that would have been cooler.
I didn't care.
Okay. I wanted a magical wetsuit with the colors of each person's school.
I definitely thought this was the least interesting, like, costuming of the film. This sequence for sure.
Mm-hmm. It was just like a tank top and shorts, basically. And I was like, can we do something a little more interesting?
Yeah.
So they all jump into the water. Harry like falls into the water.
This was my biggest fear as a child because I was convinced that I was going to be a movie star.
Yes,
you couldn't convince me otherwise. Yes. And I can swim, but I'm not like a great swimmer. And there were so many movies for some reason in like the early, I think maybe because of Titanic and all the underwater sequences that happen in that film. There just was like a lot of movies had like a dramatic underwater sequence. Like I'm thinking of Phantom of the Opera. I'm thinking of Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm thinking of just a lot of moments where people
Harry
are
Potter.
having to like, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
Shot underwater. And I was like, I'm too scared. I wouldn't be able to act. I have to plug my nose when I go underwater. I'd look like a fool.
Do you not know how to swim? Did you not take swimming lessons?
I did when I was little, and I knew how to swim, and then I just think I didn't swim for a while, and so I kind of like forgot because I used to not have to plug my nose, and I would used to open my eyes underwater, which you're not really
right.
You're not supposed to do in chlorine, at least.
Oh gosh, I do it all the time with my contacts in. It's terrible.
Oh,
yeah.
Have you never?
It doesn't do anything.
Lost them?
No. It doesn't even like make my eyes feel weird, to be honest.
Oh.
But I probably shouldn't. It's probably not good to do that. Just get goggles. Just wear your goggles.
Just wear your goggles.
But yeah, no, I used to do that all the time. And like when we'd go to like the Rabs pool and like nothing ever happened. My eyes were always fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just been very lucky that we had swimming lessons every summer since we were like, it had to have been like 3 or 4 was when we started because my mom never wanted to be in a situation where we fell into water or something and like Melinda and I couldn't swim. It was just like a huge fear of hers. So she was like, one of the priorities was us learning to swim at a very young age. And I'm glad because I have never been afraid to step into a body of water, really. Like I don't ever even hesitate going in water.
Fuck going in any water where I cannot see my feet. Fuck that. No.
Oh God, you would have hated Lake Tahoe then. Lake Michigan, forget it.
I can go into Lake Michigan until it like gets
off the shore,
like, my waist, and then I'm like, nope, bye.
Yeah,
but it's also pretty sandy. One time RJ and I went like down on like the East Coast in Florida, like on the Atlantic side. And there was just so much seaweed, and I kept being like,
yeah. It is a very unique feeling, the seaweed.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were on Lake Tahoe, we were like out in the middle of the lake. Obviously, we all had life vests on, but like being in that water is probably your worst nightmare because it's just like open water. You can't. It's so deep.
I'm okay.
Yeah, nothing.
It's like an official fear. Like there will always be some weird photo on the internet of people like a person swimming in open water, and I like the the idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in Rings of Power.
Oh,
when she,
yes.
like, jumps off the boat and then she just happens to come upon those people. I was like, I couldn't.
You were like, I would go to the heaven that they're going to. I wouldn't have a choice.
Right.
That would be my only option.
I'm on the boat. I'm not getting off the boat.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm here. So Harry, performing Adam's worst fear, is like falls into the water. Everyone else dives, and Harry like falls into the water.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have even had the gillyweed in his mouth had Moody not said, "Put that in your mouth." So, he's like flailing around,
which is a clue.
Yeah.
Because he knows he has gillyweed.
Mm-hmm. So he is flailing around in the water. He's feeling his neck. Then he realizes he's sprouted gills, and then his hands are webbed and his feet like extend into flippers. Adam's favorite thing.
No. This is worse than like when Pinocchio turns into the donkey. Or you see Lampwick turn into the donkey, which is a very frightening sequence. I think this is worse.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like icky. Like, it's like, oh, scary. And also just the whole, because the second task is pretty accurate to the book.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah. And it is very spooky in the water. Like the sound design for the sequence is excellent.
It's like that bright muffled at the bottom of the Black Lake for some reason. very bright.
It's like the green overlay, whatever.
Yeah.
He can see in the water now with whatever changed him with the gillyweed.
I'm just saying, if I was looking down at my hands and I literally watched them web in front of me, it wouldn't matter. I'd pass out underwater. I'd be like
floating around.
No.
So funny. Yeah, it's very spooky under the water. I was like, this is very creepy. Harry gets there first. He like follows a mermaid, basically. A big complaint: we did not have a Grindlelow tied up in someone's front yard. So
correct. Yeah, it did not look like a little suburban village.
No. What was this? I need to complain to Mike Newell directly.
Very upsetting.
Yeah, come on now. Give the people what they want. And what we want is a pet Grindlelow dog.
Yeah.
With a collar. So Harry gets there first. Then Cedric shows up and gets Cho and is like, hey, keep an eye on the time. And Harry's like, yeah, okay. And then right after that, Crumb shows up with the shark head and
first of all, Fleur, you already saw Fleur get got.
Right, that's true. They do show her getting pulled down by the Grindlelow. Yeah.
Because again, she's not talked yet in this movie. We are 3.5 hours into talking about this movie, and this girl has still not had a line.
We are in part 2, everyone, and she has not spoken. So she has been taken by the Grindlelow. Everyone else has showed up for their person. Crumb is very scary with the shark head. I was like, oh. And then he takes Hermione up to the surface after Cedric has taken Cho. So Harry's still kind of like waiting around. He did already try to take Hermione before Crumb showed up, but the merfolk were like only one. So we have that moment where he's like, but she's my friend too. So he's just waiting and waiting. And then finally he's like, I'm going to take the girl with me because he sees no sign of Fleur. So he is taking the girl and Ron up to the surface. And then he gets swarmed by the Grindlelow. And then he sends Ron and Gabrielle up, like just like pushes them up above him. And then they reach the surface. I did want to say a couple things about people reaching to the surface. Cho is absolutely a mood for like not even really being able to swim, but still taking time to wave to her fans. Did you see that? She was like, I love the moment of as soon as Crumb's head comes out of the water, he transforms back into a human. Yeah. I don't really understand how that works, but I was like, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then this whole time, Fleur is just standing there, very concerned about her sister.
Right. Very concerned and silent. More important that she's quiet.
Silent.
She's not allowed to speak. We can't give this girl her SAG card. We
really need you to just emote here, okay? Don't say anything. Yes, exactly.
The green screen behind them looks really like there's something about it now when I watch it where I was like, that's a green screen behind them. And that shot specifically is what stood out to me.
Yeah,
maybe it was the lighting probably, but
yeah, it could have been. So Harry has been just like completely taken down by the Grindlelow. And then what does he do? He like blasts them. What is it? Not Reducto?
I don't know what he does to the Grindlelow. I don't know what spell it is, but I know what spell he uses to get out of the fucking water.
Oh, yes. So he just blasts them. Maybe he didn't even say anything. Maybe it was silent. He blasts the Grindlelow away. They all like freeze for a second and then scatter. And then he's like looking up to the surface and then he says Ascendio.
Right.
To ascend himself.
Correct.
And then he has returned. He's okay. Dumbledore checks on him. Moody is relieved.
I'm gonna say if there's an Ascendio spell, there's a Descendio spell, which probably could have got you to the bottom faster.
Hello.
I would have just used Ascendio the minute I got them.
Yeah, why not?
Hello? Why aren't we all just using Descendio and Ascendio to get through the water?
Yeah, Harry, if you did it at the end, you should have done it from the first moment you grabbed them. Yeah. The beginning.
You wouldn't have needed the gillyweed. You could have Descendio, brat. Ascendio,
yeah,
Ascendio,
brat. So this is the moment Fleur finally speaks. She thanks Harry for she's like, you saved her, even though she was not yours to save, my little sister. And she's like, thank you. And she kisses him. And then she goes to Ron and she says, and you helped. And then he's like, oh yeah, a bit. And then she gives him kisses.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just like to say that the only time the only time that Fleur is speaking is when she's kissing Harry and Ron. And it's gross. This was like the worst choice that they could have made. They were like, we're going to save her. This is Adam. She doesn't talk again until she says goodbye to them again and kisses. I'm sorry.
Correct. This actress has 3 lines in the entire 2.5 hour film. 3 entire lines. And she is one of the Tri-Wizards in this year's 4 Wizard.
Wait, I am so angry. I did not realize the next time we hear her talk is literally when she's kissing Ron again.
Yeah. You hear her scream, and women's screams are lines.
Justice for Fleur. I'm sorry. If they ever make a TV show, I'm going to need way more of Fleur.
I need a Fleur spinoff.
Yeah, give me the Bobaton school. We need that anyway.
Yeah!
We need it. I need it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. I'm so upset. It's so stupid. Because she is a very Joe gave her a lot of lines in the book. She is a very vivid character.
Lot. If any of them shouldn't speak a lot, it's Crumb.
Crumb.
He has more lines than her in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say he has a ton to do, but he definitely has a lot more lines than her.
No, it's definitely Cedric and then Crumb and then Fleur. In terms of how much.
And then other interstitial characters and then Fleur.
God, I hate it. Oh my God,
Igor
that's terrible.
Karkaroff has more lines than Fleur.
Yes, he does.
I think Nigel, the new character in this movie, has more lines.
The made-up character. My God.
Oh, just say you hate women, Mike Newell. Just say it.
Come on. So the task is complete. So basically, everyone.
I'm so sorry. It's not funny, but it's the realization you had was very funny.
No, I was like, because it is just so, it's like blatant. It's so blatant.
I know.
Oh, I hate it. Ugh. Yeah, this is my least favorite film. This is my least favorite one. So, basically, Cedric wins. Harry is second because of moral fiber, and then Crumb, and then Fleur. Which Karkaroff is very upset by.
Yeah,
he's like visibly like, boo! Yeah, wah! Blah! So after this, there's a nice little moment where
they care that much.
Because he just wants Crumb to win. He wants his person to win.
I know, but it's not like Albus is like, oh, it's gotta be Cedric or Harry. Even Maxine is
Albus.
Like, Maxine had one line where she was like, why the fuck is there a second Hogwarts champion? And then ever since then, she's like, okay. I'm half giant. What are we gonna do?
Because he's a baddie. Because he's a baddie.
Yeah, he's the bad guy of the movie.
Yeah. So there's this nice little moment where they get back to shore and they're all like improvising about moral fiber.
Yes.
That was just what they liked to do. It was like the thing they kept joking about on set, clearly. So that was what they went with. And then Crouch approaches Harry and like for the first time kind of takes some interest in him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. So he's just like chatting Harry up right now. And then he's like talking about some really personal stuff, which I was like, I'm sorry, Bartemius Crouch? Harry Potter has no idea what you're talking about. Like, he's just like, oh, yes, never hold again, are we? And Harry's like, like, he's like, what?
Also, and Barty is definitely not imperious.
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all. He is not imperious at all through this film. So, he and Harry are having this moment. Moody observes this and decides to approach. Here is another moment. Moody mentions a boy going into the Department of Mysteries. And he says, the last boy that went into the Department of Mysteries never came out. And then he does the weird little tongue thing.
The tongue thing.
And Barty Sr. is like, the fuck?
Mm-hmm. And
then Moody's like, oh, okay. Maybe let me do the tongue thing again, but a little bit smaller. Like he literally, Adam, this is what he did. He goes, I was like, okay, you still are doing the tongue thing. Is it a twitch? It's a nervous tick. I don't know. So what we're supposed to take from this is that Barney Crouch Jr. was in the Department of Mysteries. He was an employee in the Department of Mysteries. Okay.
I hate that this movie just like doesn't try to, it makes me so mad. You should not know that it's Barty. You should not know Barty is Moody. I'm sorry. I mean, shouldn't. That's like, I don't know. You shouldn't know.
It's just so hard for me to imagine if I would know if it was Barty or not, to be honest, because I just know it's him. So I can't even, it's hard for me to suspend my disbelief.
So here's my thing. My thing is that you should not know Barty is Moody. And this movie doesn't care that you know that Barty's Moody. It's just not concerned with that. It doesn't care. and it really bothers me.
I just don't know, because I just have always known that it's Barney Crouch Jr. I really don't know if I would not know or not. Like, I can't suspend my disbelief. I can't just think of it in another way.
I understand what you're saying. I just mean, like, there shouldn't be things that are like obvious, giant,
blatantly
red
obvious.
Flag. Like him, like creeping around, following him is all excusable because Dumbledore said, "Follow Harry and make sure he's safe." All of the other stuff really kind of like you could easily understand. I think tonally they could have done a better job, but I think it's fine. My issue is like the tongue thing is so obvious because they had to make it an obvious thing because that's how they had to. But it doesn't even make sense.
As soon as you see the scene in the pensieve, you would automatically know that was him then.
Exactly.
I don't even think we needed the tongue thing. I think it's along the same lines of you're insulting your audience. Like it's that same thing again, where it's like, okay, we didn't need that.
Yeah.
So pretty much after that weird exchange with Crouch and Moody, Harry, Ron, Hermione, and Hagrid are just kind of like frolicking in the dark forest. And I was like, okay, this is fine. I like this moment between them, but I was like, but why are he needed to find Crouch. He needed to stumble upon Crouch. And I was like, I wish that you would have just kept the scene of him and Crumb. It's weird to me that they were just walking around the dark forest and they happened to come upon Crouch. I was like, what are they doing? What is this?
Also, it's crazy that they come upon Crouch's dead body.
Yeah.
Because famously, Crouch's dead body is never found because he turns him into what? A bone.
Bones.
Susan Bones.
Oh no, Adam, it's about to get so much worse. This is another moment where I was avidly reading the subtitles because I was like, I'm sorry, what are we talking about here? So let's review this timeline, okay?
Okay.
Harry has found Crouch in the forest. Okay. Harry then goes to Dumbledore's office where Dumbledore has already contacted Fudge to tell him that a dead man has been found on campus.
Right.
Harry just found Crouch. So he is approaching Dumbledore's study. We're under the impression to tell Dumbledore. You're telling me that Dumbledore already knows. So basically, then what we have to imagine is you cut out Harry going to Dumbledore, Dumbledore coming with Harry to find his dead body, only to then have Dumbledore and Harry go separately from each other, and then Harry comes back. What are we doing?
This movie doesn't know because they were drunk when they retold the story.
There was a much better way to do this. Harry finds Dumbledore's. Harry finds Crouch's body. Then flash cut a scene to Harry like running up to the castle or something. Dumbledore and Crouch are seeing each other in the hallway, having a discussion, whatever. Then Harry comes back with Dumbledore to try and show him where the body is. Can't find the body.
Here's the thing. It didn't need to be, this is going to sound crazy. This movie didn't need to make Barney Crouch Sr. a character because...
Yeah, not really.
Because the themes that, the reveal of it being Barney Crouch Jr., that the theme she's trying to employ, and she says it pretty much at the end of the book, but it's the idea that like even long-standing wizarding families who are like come from justice can still end up being like
be corrupt
dark wizards.
Yeah.
It's about corruption, but this movie doesn't get into that. It doesn't get into the fact that he was like out for power and that's why he was like so vicious. The scene in the pensieve, and we'll get to it, but the scene in the did we talk about it last week?
No, it hasn't even happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet. That's right. The scene in the pensieve happens. And you don't even the like reveal that it's Barney Crouch Jr. is just like he just is like, you should go to prison. Like, it's not even like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't do any of the things that emotionally you're supposed to understand why it's so impactful from the book. So I almost feel like it would have been a stronger choice to just not have Barney Crouch Sr. and it's just Barney Crouch Jr. I mean, there's still a lot then you lose, but you've already lost it because you took out Winky.
Yeah.
Like, you already cut that story down because of that.
Also, the whole reason they needed to have like the same name and stuff is because of the map, and you don't have any of that. None of that is in this film.
Correct.
So I see what you're saying, and I agree that it's like it doesn't really go. It doesn't really work in terms of like what you're saying, that like, oh,
if you're not
anyone
gonna
can
do it, if
turn
you're not
to the
going to do
dark
its
side.
entirety, then don't do it. Like, just like,
I think
don't
they
do
just
it.
still they wanted to have someone who was coming in with the Triwizard. For whatever reason, they were just like, oh no, we still need the father and son bit, and like he comes in anyway because of the Triwizard tournament. Because like, sorry, Crouch is barely there for the tournament stuff, so they're not even using him for that. But no one's talking about it. There's not a discussion about how he's not doing well or how he's sick. None of that is happening. So
Bertha
it's
Jorkins
very
is not
weird.
in the movie.
Nope. Yeah, it's very strange.
Poor Bertha.
Bertha. So yeah, it's very strange. I don't know. I just like I don't know why they did this. I just don't know. I don't know why this was the choice that was made.
And I understand. I understand it is a long book. We read it for 37 weeks straight. I know it's a long book. And I understand that if there's no way to possibly fit every plot line in. And I don't think we expect them to. Like,
I'm not going to say half of this stuff about the next movies that are about to come. And they have a ton of stuff in those films that
they had to cut.
Completely cut. Yeah, had to.
Ludo Bagman, I don't care that we lost Ludo Bagman. You honestly could have cut Rita Skeeter.
Yeah, her too.
You like, they don't do anything with the like that plot line
with her
of
reveal
her,
either.
Right. They get rid of the Scroots. Congrats. We don't need the Scroots. You know, they got rid of
one thing they did right.
The twins like trying to get the gold. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that's cut from the book that is like, yeah, it makes sense. You can go ahead and cut
the entire Quidditch World Cup.
They cut the Scroot, or they cut Spew.
They cut Spew, thank God.
They cut
Thank
Winky.
God we will never be talking about Spew in these films.
Right.
So the next thing that in this Dumbledore Fudge exchange that like really doesn't make any sense, he tells Fudge to Dumbledore. Dumbledore tells Fudge to stop the tournament, and Fudge refuses because he doesn't want to be seen as a coward. But Dumbledore is basically saying, a man has died, you need to close down this tournament. And Fudge is like, no. So once again, this doesn't really make sense either because we don't get anything with Fudge at the end of this film. So I didn't need this either.
Nope.
You could have done this in a much better way by removing this scene and keeping the exchange of Dumbledore and Fudge at the end. Like, I just don't understand how they were choosing what was just completely being removed. Because I feel like there are some obvious choices of things that were really vital to have, and they were just like, nah.
Well, and it's weird too, because by the time this movie came out, I obviously don't know when the screenplay was written, but definitely by the time they filmed, and certainly when it came out, book 5 had already come out. So they knew what they should have known
6.
from there, what they needed to focus on.
Yeah. The book 6, The Half-Blooded Prince, had already come out.
Right.
I mean, you knew where this was going.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was so strange to me. The whole thing, I just could not move past the fact that they're talking about the dead man that Harry found, and yet like Harry is just now getting to Dumbledore's office. I understand that there could have been a time lapse. Like, I understand how film works, but like it doesn't make sense. It's not a logical way of moving the story forward.
Yeah.
It's so out of order, which is a big complaint I have with this movie. So Harry stays in the office because Dumbledore's like, no, we're done. Me and Fudge are done. We're done talking, which is so funny to me because Fudge literally snaps his neck. when he says that. He's like, no, the minister and I are finished. And Fudge is literally like, I was like, okay, Cornelius. I'm not an owl. So Harry is in the office. This is where we get the little shout out to Fox. Hey, Fox, in the background. He's just chilling.
Hey, Fox.
And then the pensieve just opens itself, Adam.
Nope, that's not true, because there's these weird biting candies that bite Harry's hand, and then he bumps into the cabinet, and then the cabinet opens.
Oh, he bumps into it. Okay. He bumps the cabinet open because he's dealing with the licorice.
I would have been more okay if the cabinet did just open. What the fuck are these biting candies? What are you talking about? This is so stupid.
This is where I'm like, you spent your special effects budget on this?
On this. On a candy that bites. We've already seen chocolate frogs. You're not gonna do better than chocolate frogs.
Yeah. What are we doing? I don't like this.
No.
So the pensieve just like rolls on out after he bumps it, and then
This is me on the pensieve.
Yeah. Hey, girl. Hey.
Come here. Take a dip.
Take a dip. Dip a toe. So he leans over the pensieve, and then all of a sudden he is just falling into this very cool ministry room. A very fancy ministry courtroom.
This isn't the official Wizengamot, right? Because we see the Wizengamot basically in the next movie.
I think it is, isn't it? That's what I was under the impression that it was. Like the older one. Maybe it's been refurbished.
It's probably been redressed, honestly. It's probably the same set. They just redressed it a different way.
Yeah. So, in the film universe, there are no Dementors, but there is this weird cage thing where there's like a wizard who's like winding up the spike. Did you peep that? It was like, this is a wizard's job is apparently to like screw in the spike as close as he can to like the victim's face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, I do think that this creates that picture of the ministry is becoming just as violent as the Death Eaters themselves. Like it is kind of scary. So there's that weird cage thing. And there's also young Albus and young Moody, and young Rita is there taking notes.
Young Rita, who looks kind of pretty much the same, but yeah, young Rita.
I just liked her she has a different wig, and I liked her wig.
She does have a different wig, yeah.
So Igor shows up. They bring him into the little cage thing, and he's naming off these names. Rookwood is the one they're interested in. Then he mentions Snape, and Dumbledore does his little bit, basically being like, Snape is as much a Death Eater as I am, and Igor's like, that's not true. He's still faithful to the Dark Lord. And then Barney Crouch is like, okay, well, you need to tell us who else you're going to tell us, or else I'm going to send you back. So give us the names. And then he's like, oh, I heard about one more. This person. They were personally responsible for the torture of Frank and Alice Longbottom via the Cruciatus curse. And then Barney Crouch Sr. is like, give me the name, the wretched name. And then Igor,
Aria's acting the scene out. She's like, again.
All for the dramatics. Igor says, Barney Crouch Jr. And then it is chaos. Barney Crouch Jr. was off to the loo in this moment, but now he is caught. So David Tennant.
Why the fuck was he there?
I don't know, Adam. So maybe they're doing the.
I don't know, Adam.
I don't. None of this makes any sense. And he's the Department of Mysteries. Supposedly, that's where he was sent to work. So why is he here? He's not on the Wizengamot. The Wizengamot. He's not a part of that. So why is he here?
I will say, though, David Tennant looks fine as hell in this scene.
Oh yeah, he's very attractive.
He's so attractive.
Just dressed very well. It's very flattering on him. And I don't say that about David Tennant very often.
My first kiss, Adam.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Who is also named Adam.
Scottish. Yeah.
Oh, he was Scottish?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, no, I usually don't say that about David Tennant, but he looks very well dressed in this. It's very flattering on him. I'm not saying David Tennant is ugly. Please don't come for me, people. Please don't come for me, David Tennant fans. He's just not my type. So he was off to the loo, but then he is caught. So he makes a run for it. And I was like, I'm sorry, where were you going? You literally didn't even try to pull your wand on anyone. Like,
girl, apparate. What are we doing? Are we not fully qualified wizards?
We aren't. We work in the Department of Mysteries, but we're not fully qualified wizards.
Jesus.
So, yeah, wait. Why couldn't he? Adam, maybe you can't apparate in the Ministry of Magic.
That has never been discussed.
Yeah, I don't know. They do come in through the fireplace. The Ministry is the only place that is properly utilizing the Flu Network. The only place.
Toilets. And
toilets.
And the Loo Network.
Yeah. The Flu and the Loo. These are the networks we need to utilize. So then Barney Crouch Jr. is brought before Barney Crouch Sr. And this moment, I think, is very dramatic and works really well. He's like, hello, father. Ha, ha. So that's when the moment where everyone knows who Moody is. And it's not even close to the end.
I just didn't even need it.
We don't need it. We don't need it. So then Barney Crouch, the actor playing Barney Crouch, I love this moment. He looks him dead in the eyes and he says, "You are no son of mine." And then he dismisses him. And he's like, David Tennant is literally going nuts. So in this world, Barney Crouch Jr. doesn't even pretend to be a good guy. He is it's like a psychopath, sociopath,
right?
Psychopath. He's just been putting on a front this whole time. And he got caught. So he doesn't see the use in pretending anymore. He's just like, yeah, I'm a baddie. Could you
imagine if this movie, could you imagine if this movie did what the book does but no one knows, walking into this film, nobody knows that Helena Bonham Carter is playing Bellatrix Lestrange.
Yes,
and then you get that reveal on top at the same time. And she's doing the we will be with the Dark Lord. And David Tennant's crying.
Father, we will be rewarded. Excuse me, can you just, I have something to say. Stop your blubbering. The Dark Lord, she just starts yelling over his sobs. The Dark Lord, he will reward us. By simultaneously happening at the same time. If they do it if they ever make a Harry Potter series, I wish I could be a fly on the wall, because I can already picture have a camera do an over the shoulder shot coming in with Barney Crouch Jr. sobbing, already terrified, just doing the whole bit. The whole bit of he's just an innocent boy, only to then reveal later that he's evil. Give me that.
That's
twist.
The brilliance of the switch is you believe that he was maybe wrong, maybe he just got caught up in that's what's so crazy about the reveal. It's not even that it's a reveal of a character we didn't expect. It's because
not at all.
It was an innocent character in the way that it was portrayed, kind of in the way she portrays Pettigrew, but
it's way more effective that it was a 17-year-old kid that you genuinely are oh my God, that was so upsetting in that scene. Everyone else is just oh yeah, we did it. And he's adamant that he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So, after this happens, Harry is transported out of the Pensieve and Dumbledore is just standing there hey. You were curious, huh? So then
anything you want to say?
Yeah.
Well, you've been running through my mind.
So I feel like I've already talked about the portrayal of Dumbledore, so I don't really want to say, I'm not really going to say it, but I just don't, I'm not going to say much. All I'm going to say is just I don't really like this choice either. Surprise. Shocker, everyone. But Harry tells Dumbledore about his dream, and then he asks him if it's actually happening. But then the line that they gave Dumbledore is he should just cast these dreams away. So what are we doing? This is very weird to me. I'm like, this is the direction you're going to choose to go in? Because we're basically going to confirm that what Harry has been seeing is real in like 20 minutes.
Right.
But you're going to have Albus Dumbledore be like, I don't think you should really think too hard about these dreams, Harry.
Yeah.
Whose idea was this?
Yeah, it's weird because it's not textually supported in any way.
No, and it would have made way more sense for Dumbledore to have some like kind of strange response, like, it's possible. I mean, there's plenty of things that are possible, you know? The most unexpected things happen. Impossible things are happening every day. It's like just something, like some weird response like that, where it's like kind of cryptic. Like, why not just do that if you don't want to commit fully to something? It was very weird to me. So then after Harry leaves Dumbledore's office, he walks past Snape's, what is it called? Storage cupboard?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, Snape's
like potion cellar, room. Whatever. Yeah. And then Igor Karkaroff is showing Severus Snape his dark mark. And Harry just like straight up sees it.
This is Alan Rickman's third line in this movie.
Great.
He's still doing better than Fleur.
Yeah.
To be clear.
It's Alan Rickman and then Fleur, though. They're like neck and neck. So Snape, after Igor leaves, Snape accuses Harry of stealing his gillyweed and ingredients for Polyjuice Potion. And then he threatens him with Veritaserum. Yes.
He threatens him. He accuses him of stealing like boomslang skin and whatever the other one was. Whatever the two ingredients that they need to steal.
Lacewing flies
and boomslang skin. He doesn't say it's for Polyjuice Potion, but I will get to that in a second. You can continue.
No, he does. He says, you and your little friends are brewing Polyjuice Potion.
Oh, shit.
Right at the end.
I didn't hear him say that. Because I think I have an extended scene right after this where Hermione's like, he thinks we're brewing Polyjuice Potion. And I was like, why are we saying it?
I need to watch the Peacock version. Like, you watched a completely different film, Adam. I will have a Peacock membership.
Yeah, it was so weird because Daniel Radcliffe didn't play Harry. It was so weird. Did you?
Yeah, completely different person.
Did I not mention
that? So the final task has arrived. Hello. We are here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where this maze is. Once again, this maze is miles and miles away from Hogwarts. Like, this is the furthest out we've gotten. This is not the Quidditch pitch at all.
The castle is so far in the background, it's just like one little tower spike you can see.
Adam, how long did it take Moody and Harry to walk back up to they were walking for hours. They had to hike over the Highlands.
Weeks. 3 months later, they arrived. No wonder he ran out of Polyjuice Potion.
That's why. No wonder it took Dumbledore so long to get over there. He was like, I'm sorry, he took him over the Highlands? Back to the castle? Well, shit. Let's go, Minerva.
Yeah. Crazy.
So, I just would like to say shout out to the Hogwarts band. Hey.
Hey.
They had their little moment. I was excited.
They did.
So this is a very sweet moment with Cedric and his dad. It is a little sad that Harry's there. What?
Only Amos comes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wanted the other parents there?
Yeah, it's weird because they're all getting like Cedric is getting gassed up by Amos when they're like standing around the like thing, like getting ready. And he's the only one. I would have been fine if it was like Harry doesn't have anybody because they didn't feel like doing the whole Molly Weasley thing.
Right.
Also weird that she's literally not in this movie, which I just am realizing in this
not
moment.
At all.
I would have been fine with that. Or they could have done Mr. Weasley because he's there in the crowd. They show a shot of him, so he's there in the crowd.
Oh yeah, that's weird. Yeah,
I
guess
after they come back, you see them like jump up when they applaud.
Right.
There's just throw everybody a parent.
The heads of the school, like the headmaster and high master Igor Karkaroff and headmistress are with their people. So that was a little weird. And then like there's like a moment where Dumbledore is kind of with Harry, but then he has to make the announcement, so Harry's just like by himself. But yeah, it is weird they didn't have any of the families. I didn't really think about that. I was just like, oh yeah, Harry doesn't have anyone. That's kind of sad. And then I was like, why wouldn't they just have McGonagall there with him? If no one else, she's his head of house.
I just would rather, either do everybody get somebody or nobody. I just
exactly,
was like,
exactly. So then they're about to start the maze, and oh my God, Adam, this moment with Cedric and his dad.
I know.
He was like, he literally calls him my boy, and then Cedric's like, "See you later, Dad." And I was like, "No,
I know,
don't do it." I was like, "Don't do it to us." So that was very sad.
What do you think about Dumbledore's warning?
What? When he's looking?
No. When he gathers them around and they do like a huddle before they go in.
What does he say?
Dumbledore's like, now you're going to go into this maze. And let me warn you, people change in the maze. And I was like,
I don't even remember that. And
For what reason? For what reason? I would have rather him been like, so in the maze, you're gonna like come across different kind of like
which
spells or different monsters, whatever.
Didn't happen at all.
Or just so you know, the maze changes from time. Like tell them the parameters of the rules instead of this arbitrary like people change because of the maze.
Be careful. You might lose yourself in the maze.
People change in the maze. People change.
Good people.
I didn't change in the maze, okay? I didn't change in the maze.
Good people but on both sides.
People do change in the maze. They go
in. I was going to ask you what you thought about the moment where Dumbledore looks at Moody. Because Moody, like, points Harry in the right direction. Mm-hmm. And there is a very, like, intentional shot of Dumbledore being like, so is this him figuring it out? Now he knows it's Barney Crouch Jr. And I'm sorry, how the fuck would that moment give away? There is no way in that moment that he would be like, it's Barney Crouch Jr.
I don't know. I mean, it might not be that it's Barney Crouch Jr., but he may realize that maybe he's not Moody. Because in the book, he says that he doesn't know that, obviously he doesn't know it's Barney Crouch Jr. when he comes in, but he knows that he's not Moody when Moody takes him away. Remember?
Yeah, but how would him doing this? That was I was just like, but why would he think, someone, you know what? I actually think that's not Mad-Eye Moody. I think someone may be drinking I guess Snape has mentioned. He's worried about his polyjuice potion.
Right. Did they have to explain that he... like why they suddenly come, like it's the only way you could possibly understand why they bust in the middle of like Harry and Moody together, because they don't really say I saw him take you away and I knew he's never. They don't just say the line.
No, it could have been, and I think that's, if that is like the reason why they included it, I just think that's so dumb, because I'm like, all you needed to do was have Dumbledore say like, don't move. It's like, I'm good. I'll be right back. Harry, stay here. Don't like, or Fudge being like, Harry should go somewhere else. And him being like, no, actually, I'd like Harry to stay with me. Like, it takes a second to say that line. And then it would be like, well, I knew that Moody would never remove Harry from my presence after something like this happened.
Right.
So I didn't really understand that. It was another like, it reminded me of like the Karkaroff clips or the Karkaroff shots. Like I just was like, why are we doing that? What is this? I don't need this. It would have been much more interesting if you could have just seen Dumbledore keeping an eye on Moody in the background. He didn't even need to be in focus. You didn't even need to do like a refocus between them. Him in the background would have been enough for me. So they're in the maze. There's
it's a very The Office moment where they cut to him and he like looks at the camera and he's like,
yes, yeah, it is. So they are all in the maze. It like basically seals them in. There isn't any.
Too big.
It's too big. Yeah, too massive.
Way too big.
Also, there's like nothing in there except the maze itself might get you. Okay.
We're going to test the greatest wizards in the world by just putting them in a maze.
That can grab your ankles.
What?
I mean, fine, whatever. They didn't want to spend the production budget on something in here. So
totally understand.
Fine, that's fine. But I just was like, okay, I mean, this is what I'm saying, where I'm like, how did they decide what to leave and take?
Yeah.
It's just
what
weird.
You could have spent that money on? You didn't need it on those biting candies.
No!
Would have made a sphinx.
You could have at least given us just that weird mist that Harry walks into and flips upside down. At least that. So the only scary thing
is very strange. I mean, it's very scary. I will say, like the maze is so tall,
and like feeling like you're being, what is that called? Claustrophobia, something like that.
Yeah, but
So it's literally just the hedges that will like grab you, and then Imperious Crumb. Like those are the only things you need to be worried about in the maze.
One, Fleur, who still hasn't spoken.
Oh,
had a third line yet.
Fleur giving into hysteria. I mean, she's just not cut out for this. It's too scary. It's too scary for her.
Yeah, it's not even that she gets attacked by someone else, right? It's just that the hedge takes her.
No, Crumb is the one that supposedly attacks her.
Oh, yeah, because you hear, like, the footsteps or whatever.
And she screams, and that's why Harry's like, oh. And then when he's going to find her, Crumb is like, but then he sees it's Harry, and he leaves him alone.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it's
basically.
Also not really explained well, but yeah.
Yeah, so Crumb basically is bewitched, and he's taking out Fleur and Cedric. So Harry sees the cup, but then happens upon Cedric and Crumb duking it out, and Crumb is trying to curse Cedric. So Cedric thankfully like fends him off and then like kicks his wand away, and then is like about to like really hurt Crumb maybe when Harry's like, no, he's bewitched. And then they both start running towards the cup.
Did
Cedric
Fleur die?
No. Oh yeah, he shoots up red sparks for Fleur, by the way.
No, I know, but the way it's shown, like she's unconscious and like is swallowed by a hedge.
And then Harry,
the girl died, girl. They were like, we don't even want to give her that third line at the end of this movie.
She's in the end of the movie.
I know.
I don't know how she got out though. I don't know how they like came to find her.
They were like, it's not enough that Cedric dies. We're also gonna have Crumb and Fleur die. All three of them pass away.
All of them die.
Yeah.
So basically one of the hedges like latches onto Cedric, and there is a moment where Harry almost runs to get the cup instead of saving Cedric, and there is a very dramatic shot of Harry's eyes.
Yeah.
And fine, use that shot in the trailer. I don't think that shot should have made the final cut. We didn't need a shot of Harry being like, I was like, why is this here?
Makes me so mad because I don't like that they start racing for the cup together. Like, it's so dumb. And then I know that they didn't want to do the spider, obviously, but the whole deal is that Harry gets
Harry's
injured.
leg. Yeah.
And so Cedric is the one who doesn't go to the cup first. and comes back
right.
and gets Harry. I was so mad that they changed it to be Harry comes and grabs Cedric. Because I was like,
you're right.
It would have been so much more impactful if Harry, or if like Cedric had almost gotten the cup and then came back to get Harry, and then they both went and got it together.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
And then he dies. Whereas in this one, it was like, I don't know.
Harry saved Cedric. Yeah.
I just didn't like it. I was really mad.
No, I totally forgot about that it's the other way around, that Harry is saved by Cedric because he can't even stand on his leg.
Right.
So, yeah, very good point. So I guess the maze is just like closing in on them too. Like they start running from the cup and the maze is just like, nope.
Yeah.
I was like, why is this happening now?
It doesn't even make sense because we already know Harry's a good person because he saved extra people in the second task.
Yeah, no, it would make way more sense to have that moment be about Cedric.
It made me so mad when I watched it.
It would have a more emotional impact then.
Mm-hmm.
So they both grab the cup at the same time, which is Harry's idea. Cedric is like, you saved me, take it. And then Harry's like, together.
Mm-hmm.
And then they grab the cup and then they are port-keyed to the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And right away, Harry sees Tom Riddle's grave. And you can't miss it because there is the
Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper with a scythe in hand. And yes. And pretty immediately, Harry recognizes the grave and is like, we need to get back to the cup, which is very different from the book. And I will say, listeners, they did it better in the movie. It is
we're not going to say that much about this film.
No, this was better. This was better. They high stakes right away. Harry is like, I recognize that. I've been here before. Absolutely not. We need to leave. Cedric is like, oh, it's a port key. Just like trying to kind of figure out what's going on. He's almost like tickled by it. He's like, oh, I see what they did. Okay, it's a port key. Okay. And Harry's like, you need to get back to the cup. We need to go. Then Wormtail comes out. Once again, Harry is like, Cedric, get back to the cup, even though he's like, my scar. Yeah. And then Cedric is like, put on alarm or on the defense. And he's like, who are you? What do you want? The Voldemort creature thing is like, kill the spare. And then Wormtail Avada Kedavra's Cedric. And Harry is like actively yelling like, no, Cedric. So this is done way better. It is like panic. No one knows what, like, Harry doesn't know what to do. Cedric is confused. He's just trying to figure out what, like, I feel like this is a very realistic response in a situation like this. No one was standing in the graveyard watching Wormtail walk up to them from like half a mile away. No one was just standing there waiting. Oh my God.
She's like, do you know Robin Hood well?
Yeah, Oodalali?
No.
The Oodalali song?
No, the geese. Or is that Aristocats?
Oh, that's Aristocats.
It's Aristocats. Perfect. But it's like baby Voldemort with bonnets.
Not baby Voldemort in a bonnet. Bloom, 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 bloom. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Abigail and Amelia. Those are the geese's names. Yes.
Classic.
Wormtail and Voldy.
Those are the geese's names.
In their bonnets. Oh my God, not Wormtail in a fucking bonnet.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I have to sneeze. So This is just way more instant. Oh gosh. I'm feeling I have to sneeze. This is much more instant. It's much more realistic, way more believable. Everything is like one thing after another. So Harry is then detained by said Grim Reaper on Tom Riddle's grave, or above Tom Riddle's grave. And then this is all pretty accurate, right? I couldn't remember bone of the father unwillingly given.
Yeah.
Flesh of the servant willingly sacrificed. Blood of the enemy forcibly taken. The Dark Lord will rise again. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It is different. He doesn't come out of the cauldron. The cauldron like evaporates into this like, I don't know, like rubber cement.
The effect is so cool.
Yeah. The way they did it is great.
The effect is incredible. The way, first of all, when Voldemort the baby gets tossed in the soup, stone soup, looking like a raw chicken leg going into a pot, I was like,
I know. Every shot, the like close up too in on baby Voldemort's head was gross. Like I was just like, it was very, very accurate.
How easily Peter Pettigrew cut off his hand.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Wild.
I mean, I had that complaint in the book too. His hand just like flopped right off. I was like, you're gonna have to saw through that. That has to be a magical knife.
And he has no reaction.
No, he's just fine standing there.
Right.
He's not like weeping or like sobbing in pain at all.
Right.
Timothy Spall, what's going on? Sir?
I will say when he comes into his form.
Voldemort? Yeah.
The robes, whatever they did to like make it like his robes are like ethereal, like they're almost like not real.
Yeah.
They kind of don't move like real fabric.
No, yeah,
I think they are real fabric that he's wearing, but I think there's like a layer of CGI on top of it to make it look like it's like, I don't know how they did it.
But it's great.
Truly incredible. Like it's like, I mean, this decision from casting Ralph Fiennes to this like costuming to the way the sequence is done with special effects to the makeup and the way they decided that Voldemort is going to look, like nails it. 10 out of 10.
It's
literally
so good.
No notes. It's so good.
The even just the way that the cauldron evaporated and then like the smoke and mist around the body that like congeals into yes, it was so good. I was like, oh yeah, I'm into this. I was like, this was a great choice.
Cool.
And yes, I think they heard our note about him being a smoke, and so they wanted to incorporate that into his costuming. They were like, yes, we need to have a smoke effect on his robes.
A smoke.
So that's what that was to me. I was like, oh yes, a smoke.
Yeah, referencing obviously movie 1 when he comes out of Quirrell's head and is a smoke. Right.
Smoke. Yes, a callback, if you will. So the dark mark on Wormtail's arm, Voldemort touches it, and then it summons it establishes a dark mark above them in the sky, and then out of the dark mark in the sky, said Death Eaters just like appear.
Right.
I was like, sure. I didn't need that, but all right. They could have just appeared. I don't know why they had to come out of the sky.
It in the sky, right?
No, there's nothing in the sky.
Right. That's what I thought.
That's like something that's Morse Morda.
Yeah.
So that was a little weird to me. Yeah. So he summons the Death Eaters out of the sky. He talks to them all, but like specifically singles out Lucius. Right. And is like, you didn't even try to help me.
Those robes.
Yeah. Oh yes, straight up KKK. Black KKK robes.
Yeah. They don't really have the hats in the next movies. They have the masks
No,
and
they
the
don't
robes.
like ever use the hats again.
Probably for the best.
I mean, fine, but I was just like, if you're gonna, I don't know, if you're gonna go with the KKK, then like, let's do it.
Yeah.
If that's what you're going to use is like the aesthetic for the Death Eaters, I say let's go all the way. I think it was more a thing where they couldn't keep covering up the actors' faces. That's the thing.
Sure.
It's like contractually, they'll be like, I have my FaceTime. I have to show my face like the majority of the movie.
We also had David Tennant through 45 minutes of this film. We know about FaceTime and screen time.
So he calls Lucius out. Lucius. He says Lucius, doesn't he? So I guess I should say that. Not even you, Lucius. And I love, what is his name? Jason. I almost said Jason Alexander. Isaac. Jason Isaacs. I love how Jason Isaacs talks. My lord, if I had detected the very whisper of your whereabouts. It's so good. So good. I love him as Lucius Malfoy. No one else could have played Lucius Malfoy. He is so perfect. He like deserves like an Emmy for his portrayal. He is just so good. Yeah. Or what would it be?
A Nobel Peace Prize.
A Nobel Peace Prize for the portrayal of Lucius Malfoy. What would it be? A British
BAFTA.
BAFTA. Yeah, he deserves a BAFTA. So he's giving Lucius a hard time, and then Wormtail pipes up and he's like, I returned. And then Voldemort like rounds on him and he's like, yeah, you returned, but like out of fear, not loyalty. But you know what? Fine. You did return. So I'll give you this really nice shiny new hand, girl. Okay. And Wormtail's like, oh my God, love. Thank you. This is so great. Mm-hmm. So then Voldemort he starts going into the details of, he mentions Cedric, which sets Harry off. He like touches him with his foot. Which is really gross.
Toenails are so long.
Yeah. And it's just
for someone who hasn't had a body for about 13 years, his toenails are very long.
Excuse me?
He was the smoke.
He was the smoke. He didn't have toenails. Where did those come from? So Harry's like, don't touch him. And then he's like, oh, yes, Harry. I almost forgot you were here, darling. Oh, yes, you're here.
Anita, darling.
Anita, darling. He's like, oh, yes, you're here, aren't you? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you some things. And I'm going to tell my Death Eaters. I'm going to break it down for you. This is how I'm here. Yes, Harry's mother sacrificed herself. It's like the whole bit. He does the whole thing basically of like, yes, but he focuses a lot more on his mother. It's like more about her. And it's like, oh yeah, she did this very heroic, brave thing. I don't even think he really mentions James. He's like, yeah, she did this very brave, heroic thing. And I should have seen it coming. I should have known that this was old magic. I should have foreseen it. And then he's like, but now that I've resurrected myself with his own blood, I can touch him. So then he demonstrates how he can touch Harry, and Harry is just like in absolutely excruciating pain. And I'm pretty sure this is the beginning of the weird Voldemort sounds. If you have never looked up the compilation on YouTube, I highly recommend. It's great. So good. This is where it all began here. So yeah, he's enjoying that Harry's in pain. It's gross. And then he's like, okay, we're gonna duel. And then he doesn't even give Harry a chance to really like get his bearings or get his wand before like crucioing him.
Right.
And then once again, he's mentioning Lily more than James, like insulting Lily. I just like James is not even mentioned. No one is talking about James.
The movies understand that it's Lily and not James.
It's Lily.
More than the books do.
Yes. So there was a moment in this where like when they were getting ready to duel that I observed that like Cedric is still just like lying in the background, which of course he is because he's dead. But I was just like, oh yeah, like I'm glad they included some wide shots where you could just see that his like body is still there because that just adds another layer to how horrific this is.
Yeah.
So Harry like dives behind. Well, before he dives behind the gravestone, Voldemort does the same thing where he makes him bow, and then he like blasts a spell at Harry, and Harry dives behind the gravestone. And I just want to say that this is one of my favorite moments of Daniel Radcliffe's acting, probably in like any of the movies. The moment where he makes the decision to come out behind the gravestone. It's just a really beautiful acting moment. And good job, Dan. It's just like, I was like, ooh, I felt it. Like, I was like, I feel him in that moment, like fully deciding, okay, I'm going to just go out there and like, I'm going to die fighting. So then he steps out from the gravestone. Adam, there is a female Death Eater there. There is a female Death Eater behind Voldemort. I don't know who she is.
We don't know.
But she's there.
Right.
So
I'm shocked she didn't get more lines than Fleur.
Yeah. They were cut from the
Imagine
film.
They give her 4 lines in this one scene. Some unnamed witch. Death Eater number 6.
Yeah, Death Eater number 6. No. So
the way Ralph Fiennes holds his wand, the choice. I mean, this is like how you take something that. This is like how acting classes need to be taught, where it's like, just make the best choice imaginable. Because like,
just the most ridiculous
on the page,
thing.
It just says Voldemort picks up his wand. And the idea that he's like, I'm so powerful, look how simply, I'm not even worried you can get my wand away
I'm not
from
even,
me. Like,
I'm holding on to it like a chopstick.
It's so good.
Yeah. This is also why, like, I think when people get a little too nitpicky about their acting choices, or like going all in on some, like from an acting standpoint, I'm just like, no, just like go for something. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what weird shit people have done that is like now an iconic choice?
Right.
Like, just go for it.
Yeah.
So they both fire a spell at each other in the same moment. It's the same as the book. Avada Kedavra and Expelliarmus. And very quickly, the dome appears around them. And it's similar to what happens in the book where Voldemort's like, he is mine, like, leave him to me, or something. Like, he says something like that. Do not interfere.
Whatever the special effects team did to come up with this, like, liquid magic effect.
Yeah.
Is so cool. It makes it so much more real than just like beams of light coming at each other, like sparking. Yeah. It like makes it like almost like it reminds you of lava. So you're like, oh, it's so hot. It could be scary. Like, it's like,
is it a bad
so much
thing?
intensity to it.
Yeah. And I think, was there a layer of Phoenix song? I was trying to look for it, but
Girl, the music in this scene is so forgettable. Sorry, Patrick Doyle. I have not forgotten that your music is shit through this whole movie.
I don't remember. I could have done with more Phoenix song. I could have
done with more John Williams.
Like, I needed that.
You needed a sleigh in the background.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So
but
Cedric?
It's secretly just famous soprano Lily Evans.
Yeah.
Singing.
Yeah. She was also a soprano one.
Yeah.
So Cedric, and then Frank, and then Lily, and then James come out.
Right, because Bertha's not real.
Because Bertha's not in this universe, yes. So I do wish that this moment was just a little bit longer. I really wanted to see them drifting around and bullying Voldemort. I'm just really mad we were robbed of that.
Yeah.
But I understand why it was short. They're trying to just like keep it short and sweet this moment and get Harry back to Hogwarts. So his
Which is
dad,
crazy because I think this scene so far has just been like 4.5 minutes. Like, it's not
no, it's not
this
long.
Goes so fast.
Yeah, it goes so fast. But I could have, if there was one thing that like I could get rid of the fucking licorice snaps bit and then add a little bit more of this moment.
Yes.
So James is like, we can linger for a moment and to help you, but you have to get back to the port key. Like, you got to go quick. And then Lily's like, sweetheart, you're ready. Let go. And it's very sweet. It's like much more split evenly between the two of them. They're like 100%. Lily has a moment that doesn't have to do with James showing up.
Yeah, she's not like, just wait 1 second. Your father's about to get here. Just hold on 1 second. 1 second. I'm so sorry.
That's all I have to say. I birthed you.
It's just me right now. I know, God, it sucks that it's just me.
I birthed you out of my vaginal canal, but I'm just going to tell you your father's coming. Bye.
I only gave my life to protect you, and now I don't care. Bye.
Your dad's coming. That's Adam. Honey, hold on. Your dad's coming. Your dad will be here in just a sec. Okay, bye. So stupid. I can't believe she did that. If you hate women, just say you hate them. Just say it. So Harry reaches the port key and has Cedric's body, reaches Cedric's body and Accios the port key, right?
Right.
So
there's
they
no
are
chase through the grave.
No, there's no chase through the graveyard. Voldemort is like runs out of the mist that was the ghost and is like, no.
Yeah.
So Harry comes back with Cedric and he's just like an absolute wreck. He's like,
and
just straight up
immediately.
Yeah, this is so well done. It's like everyone's celebrating, everyone thinks it's great, and it's like that's the last. It's just terrible. It's so terrible.
I used to think it was like a perfect sequence, and then I noticed a couple things.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
oh, I can't wait.
So there's a few shots of students like reacting once it starts to like they all realize what's going on.
Yeah,
and one of
oh no,
Seamus Finnegan has like Hogwarts written on his forehead, and I was just like, we could just have not had that, or just like it made it look so goofy, and I was like, don't do this.
The moment that I like the most of this that is just like heartbreaking is that as soon as they come back, Amos and Arthur Weasley like hug and start celebrating. Yeah. And it was like, oh,
I know.
It was like the worst thing ever.
Oh, Fleur gets to scream again.
Yes, Fleur screams again.
Famously a line. Fleur, ah.
And that would be written in a script. That would just be action. Like it would just be like Fleur screams.
Fleur screams.
They wouldn't even write out Fleur, ah.
Yeah.
Ugh. I hate it. So, Fleur screams. Harry is just straight up yelling that Voldemort is back to everyone. Like Dumbledore is there.
Cornelius is
Fudge
there.
is there. Yeah, they're all just right there. And then Fudge basically runs off because he's like, keep everyone in their seats. A boy has just been killed. So okay. So
keep everyone in their seats? Girl, don't you want everyone to leave?
And then he's like, we need to move the body. There's too many people. And Harry's like, no. And he like won't let them take them. And then he's like, there's nothing you can do. Like, doesn't he say something similar?
Yeah.
Dumbledore says the same thing. Like, he's like, he's bad. You brought him back. Like, he's here. Yeah. It's okay.
And then
and Harry's like, down. I couldn't leave him there. And it's just like, it's very heartbreaking. And then whoever plays Amos Diggory.
I mean, like, this man was like, I'm pulling a performance today.
He had to have gotten this role because like he read this and did that, and it was just they were like,
it's so great.
We can't cast anyone else. Just him keep saying my boy. Like I just was like, no. I was like, oh no. I just knew
that's
I was definitely
that's
crying.
My boy. Oh my God, it's so incredibly sad.
He just loves him so much. It's just so sad. So that was heartbreaking. Moody like grabs Harry and is like, this isn't where you want to be right now. And then takes him back up to the castle without anyone really noticing them. And then they do a 7-mile hike back to Hogwarts Castle together. And then he starts acting super weird, like as soon as they get into his office.
Yeah.
And then the famous he asks about a graveyard, but Harry didn't say anything about a graveyard moment. Mm-hmm. He lost track of the conversation. Mm-hmm. So then he starts by saying marvelous creatures, dragons. And then starts basically revealing how he has been pulling the strings all along.
Jeff Rawls. Sorry.
What?
Jeff
the actor
played at Amos Diggory.
Jeff Rawls, a legend. Mm-hmm. So he starts telling Moody, whoever Moody is, we still think he's Moody at this point, starts telling Harry how he's been pulling the strings, what he's done from the beginning. He influenced Hagrid. He gave that book to Neville. He encouraged Diggory to with the egg so that he would return the favor to Harry. Mm-hmm. He just starts saying all the stuff that he wants to do because he is the Dark Lord's faithful servant. And now he will be rewarded because he's also going to give him Harry. And he was asking him things like asking what it was like to be in the graveyard, what it was like to be in the presence of the Dark Lord. He's being a weirdo. So when he's going to, I'm assuming curse Harry, right? Is that what he was about to do?
I think he was going to kill him. I don't know.
He was going to kill him. Okay. Which we all know Voldemort would not have been happy about that. But he thinks he's going to be rewarded. And so Dumbledore, is Minerva in there? Dumbledore, Snape, and Minerva all bust in. How did we feel about this?
Well, I just want to say before we get to this, I want to say I really like that they were like, oh, the activation we're going to give him is that he's like looking for more Polyjuice Potion because he knows he needs to like drink some.
Right.
Like, I like that that's what he's searching for. And I really like he does this crazy spot on Robbie Coltrane impression when he does the line of like incredible creatures, dragons or something like that. And he like tries to sound like Hagrid. And I was like, that was wild that you just like.
Oh, that was, I didn't like even that. See that. I didn't realize that was what he was trying to do. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. What do I think about them entering? It's
just like
a lot.
This scene.
The waterboarding when they like throw stuff down his throat. Also wild.
That's Veritaserum. They got to do the Veritaserum.
Also, there was something about I think in the book, the way Veritaserum reads is that you just like almost become like catatonic and you're just like answering questions.
Yeah. And they were like, nope, we're not doing that.
And this one, he's like, I wanted to kill the fucking kid myself. And I was like,
also, they asked him a question at one point and he just straight up didn't answer. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not how Veritaserum works.
Yeah, isn't that the whole?
That's the whole thing. Yeah. So that was annoying. He was like, are you Alistair Moody? And he goes, no. And then he says, is he in this room? Is he in this room? And then he like looks in the direction of the trunk. Yeah.
Right. The trunk,
and then
which apparently can be opened with a flick of a wand.
Apparently. So he opens the trunk and then the real Alistair is awake, just sitting down at the bottom of the trunk, whatever that is.
Right.
And he's right away is like, I'm sorry, Albus, like right away.
Yeah.
So they start asking him questions. No, I'm sorry. He transforms back into Junior first, which is like really gross to watch.
Yeah. Bad.
And then there was that weird bit of him being like, I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
For what? I hated that line so much.
For what? And then it was weird that it was like,
it's
and you have to, Harry, you have to show your arm.
Like a joke about showing you, like boys showing each other their dicks. Like, why of all the things to say? I was just like so annoyed that I was like, I hated that I could hear the screenwriter being like, this is funny.
Yeah, that's a good bit.
That's a good bit. No.
So this is the moment too where Dumbledore's like, I'm sorry. Actually, I think this was at the beginning of the scene. There's a moment where he's like, we know now who's been stealing your polyjuice, or who's been stealing your ingredients, Severus. He says that.
Yes.
So they're asking Moody, now that they know it's Barney Crouch Jr.
Yeah.
They're asking him questions, but this was like this was another, I'm sorry, this was where I needed more. This was way too short.
This scene is,
I
swear to you, it's like 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Like I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then it was like you said earlier,
cleared everything up for everybody.
Yeah, now we all know what's going on. How did he get out of Azkaban? Wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
and then we never see him again.
No.
So he just goes back to Azkaban, apparently.
Dementors kiss him. He doesn't
he just goes back to Azkaban, I guess.
Because the whole reason the Dementors have to kiss him is because now he can be used as a witness to be like, yeah, the Dark Lord is back.
Yeah. Don't want to do that.
It's weird because that's kind of the whole plot of the next film.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So that was very weird. It was just, it was too, I was like, oh, that's it? Like that scene with him ended and I was like, what? That was it?
Can you explain to me, I already said my piece about I'll show you mine if you show me yours. What are we supposed to be looking at?
I know. No, that's what I'm saying. Him showing Dumbledore being like, your arm, Harry. I was like, actually, no. We don't need his arm.
What are we to prove what? I don't even know what it was supposed to mean. And I read the book.
It was weird. It didn't mean anything. It was just a weird moment for them to show each other their arms. There is literally no reason.
This movie sucks.
So, yeah, wait. I'm looking at my notes and it just said, my notes are just, sorry, that's all we get of Junior? 4 question marks. And then the next note is, this movie is weird.
Yeah.
It's just like, what is going on? So then literally after he's like, you need to contact Azkaban. I think they'll find they're missing a prisoner. Snape is left with Junior, who does one last time. And then the next scene is Dumbledore giving his speech to the students.
Yeah.
And they don't do any type of wand thing. They don't cheers. No, they don't do anything like that.
It just goes up to the ceiling.
Yeah. And his speech was fine. I didn't think it was that great. I was like, I think you just should have used what was in the book.
Oh, I thought it was pretty similar to the book, but yeah.
He didn't say the bit about, remember that, like, he died because he just happened to come across Lord Voldemort.
He did not say that.
The way it ended.
He did say he was like, Cedric was a fierce friend. And
a fierce friend. Yes, a gay man, Albus Dumbledore.
Cedric was fierce as fuck.
Yeah. He was fierce, girl. We all saw that jawline, okay? We all saw it, okay? Cho, you were getting it over there, girl, okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry he's dead. Because, I hope you guys consummated your relationship beforehand. How big is it? How big was it? How big was it,
girl? She already had hers. I mean you, Cho. Because you're not going to get any more.
Cho, I hope you did it before. I hope you did it before he passed. I'm sorry, honey. Cedric gives off big dick energy. I think he does.
Totally.
Yeah. So Dumbledore gives his speech. The students are very emotional. Emma Watson, tears in her eyes, honey. Once again, a 10. 10 out of 10. So then this ends and Dumbledore comes into the dormitory to see Harry and apologize. What'd you say?
That was weird.
He apologizes for putting Harry in danger. So then now we're having the conversation about Priori Incantatem. And Dumbledore's like, yes, you saw your parents again that night. Well, just so you know, there's no spell to bring back the dead.
Yeah.
I was like, Dumbledore, yeah, we know. His parents are already they've already evaporated into mist. We get it. That was weird. I was
more mad that like the way they had it, the way they played the scene was Daniel does this face like he's like getting excited. Yes. And that's also, why I was like, in the book, there's no Harry knows that is not his parent. Like he's like, it's not like the Mirror of Erised where he was like he could have gone mad.
Exactly.
I was like, I didn't like that. No.
Also, I don't think that he would be smiling about anything that happened that night.
No.
He's just not.
Sorry. When the next scene, everyone is way too chipper.
Oh, I know.
Everyone is so happy, and I literally can't deal with it. I'm so sorry. I can't deal.
All the students are saying their goodbyes to each other, and it's like, joyful, joyful Lord, we adore thee. Ow! See you next year. Oh, okay, we're friends.
Have a good summer,
Lilas. Don't forget to write Hermione, Victor. They're all like, oh my God, we're going to be pen pals. Oh, yay. Like, everyone is so excited. Weird. And I was like.
Meanwhile, Amos is still out screaming at the maze. Like.
They were literally, Adam, they were clapping when the other students were leaving. Yeah! Woo! Fleur! Yeah, Fleur! Yeah!
This year was all worth it!
Someone's dead, but whatever! Yeah! We're here! Triwizard Tournament!
Even if whatever you want to be like, not everybody, I guess, knows, even though he says it in the speech that Voldemort has returned. But like, even if you want to be like, well, maybe not everybody believes it, or just whatever, it didn't happen to them, so they're not as affected. Yeah. Whatever. Even like Harry, Ron, and Hermione have this like, what a great year this was. And I was like, for who? For who? You two were drowned without your consent.
Yeah, wait, what is going on? What are we saying? What are we condoning here?
Oh my God.
So honestly, the one part that I like about this ending sequence that I was like, yes, is the moment where Hermione says, everything's going to change now, isn't it? Because she's the only one that is kind of like, oh my God, like now we kind of have to grow up. Like, I don't know about you. I don't think we've ever really talked about this, which is weird because we were the same age, like when we would have been going through this. But like, do you remember it kind of would have been around like maybe 12 to like 14. Do you remember having a feeling of like knowing that you were getting older and kind of being like, I don't want to get older? Because I certainly, you didn't? Okay. I certainly did. And I remember feeling like this, what Hermione said basically, that it's like, oh my God, things are changing now and everything's going to be different.
Yeah.
Like it's never going to, the way that things used to be so carefree and kind of more easy. It's like now we just have more self-awareness and we're growing up. So now we're getting further and further away from that. And like her saying that, I just was like, ooh, girl, yeah, I feel that. I remember being that age and having thoughts like that.
I think because I was the youngest, I wanted to be older.
Oh, sure. That's valid. Yeah. It was always like, oh, I want to be this age so I can do this.
Yeah.
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah.
I like the sequence. Okay, like I just made fun of it. Fine. I do like the sequence where Crumb says goodbye to Hermione. And if you watch it again, he blows her a little kiss as he walks away. And it's so sweet.
Cute.
Because the whole bit of Crumb is that he's like this big oaf and he's actually a himbo. That's
a himbo. Yeah, he is a himbo. Correct.
It's very sweet.
Yes, that is a very sweet moment between them.
Literally, my note,
we don't know if she does.
They're all a little too jovial. A student at this school was just murdered.
For real, like days ago.
Could be yesterday. I mean, this movie doesn't try to make anything seem like there's a timeline that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah,
apparently
it is very weird.
East and Halloween all happen at the same moment.
Yeah.
So.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
We didn't even get the leaving feast. I mean, come on.
The famous leaving feast that we all know.
Famous leaving feast. But that's really it.
Just ends.
Yeah, Hermione says everything's going to change now, isn't it? And Harry says yes. And then they have a little bit about Hermione's like, promise you'll write this summer. And they're like, no.
That's what I was like. Tweet. Why are we doing twee? Why are we doing like silly us? Just us girls, as always. And I was like, Harry.
Also, sorry, I don't think it's funny that Hermione's like, guys, let's stay in touch. And you're like, I'm like, can you not? She's trying to be a good friend. And that's it. That's the end. They all the three of them look over the railing. And it like also, over as the Beauxbatons carriage goes by.
It also doesn't fucking make sense that she would say, let's stay in touch, because famously in the next book, they like aren't talking to Harry, and that's why he flips out. What
they're not. They're not allowed to write to him. Dumbledore's like, don't tell him what's going on.
Zero out of 10, do not recommend.
And that's it. That is the book. I mean, the movie.
That's the movie.
That's all the film. That's the film.
The Goblet of Fire.
And I will go on record that I don't think I'm a Mike Newell fan. Like I don't care for his
or
style.
At least this.
Yeah, let me see what else. I'm gonna look on IMDb.
I think he directed 4 Weddings and a Funeral, which is one of my favorite rom-coms.
I don't really know anything else by him. Oh yeah, 4 Weddings and a Funeral. I've never seen that, so maybe I should watch that.
Good. Andy McDowell is so good in it, and it's Hugh Grant, I believe.
Yeah, that's it. That's the film. And that brings the Goblet of Fire series to a close for HB Anxious.
That's it. That wraps up that. We don't have a date on when we're coming back.
No, sorry. We'll have to keep you in suspense.
Schedule yet. We haven't been told by our producers when our comeback is.
TBD.
We're just waiting on Hybe to let us know. I would say it's probably not any time before December.
Yeah.
That's what we'll say.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
But you never know. Maybe just for fun, we'll maybe just read a couple Pottermore articles and talk about them.
We'll do like a standalone, something,
just to give you a little something while we're in hiatus.
That'd be nice.
But we have. Let me see. Let's just look. Let's look and see. No review. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you find your podcasts, as well as video versions on the Ampliverse YouTube channel and Spotify. As always, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so that we can get a perfect Newt score, 5 stars only, or else you have to watch this movie.
Yeah, or else.
And that's
you have to analyze this movie.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at HP Anxious, or YouTube and TikTok at the Ampliverse. We are hosted on Anchor and recorded on Zencaster, so thank you to the both of them, and we are a proud member of the Ampliverse. Please check them out at theampliverse.com. We're only going to do a Pottermore article or whatever, or Wizarding World article if we get a review.
Yes. So someone leave one. Just one.
Leave one. Just one. And we'll get an episode.
And we will do a special feature.
As always, thank you, Ari, for your incredible work analyzing filmed media.
You're welcome.
And as always, listeners, Knox.